Guess what? There are multiple ways to process ranked ballots. Almost all organizations do it the same way, and there's a potential for the outcome to be outrageously wrong. As far as I know, every organization processes ranked ballots the same way, and the steps are written out in the United Conservative Party of Alberta's governance manual. Here's how it played out in their 2022 leadership election. While Danielle Smith had the most votes initially, she had to be a higher alternate choice than Travis Taves of many members, which she was, so she ended up winning the election. The ranked ballot process showed that her popularity with members over Travis Taves was not as high as the first round voting indicated. The theory behind ranked ballots is that they encourage candidates to be less polarizing, and the intention is to select the person that's the most preferred by the most members, or phrased differently, satisfies the most voters to the greatest degree. Let's see how well it works in a simple example. Residents of Mars are voting to determine where a new spaceport will be built. The numbers represent the number of people that live at each of the bases, and they will vote for the location closest to where they live. Choosing the location near the West Base will result in 58% of the people being unhappy, which is why ranked ballots are used. Intuitively, we can readily see that the location next to the North Base is the best overall choice. Here's a clip from the video showing the results of each round, following the method used by the UCP and most organizations.
Voters rank each of the options from 1 to 4, and we compare their top picks. South receives the fewest votes for first place, so it's eliminated. Its 15 votes get allocated to those voters' second choice, East Base, giving it a total of 32. We then compare top preferences and cut the last place option again. This time, North Base is eliminated. Its residents' second choice would have been South Base, but since that's already gone, the votes go to their third choice. That gives East 58 votes over West's 42, making it the winner.
Clearly, East is the worst option, and far worse than simply going with West. Now, you'll probably be shocked to learn that the risk of crazy outcomes is higher than you'd think. Here's a simple example with unrealistic numbers to emphasize the point. 3 candidates. After the first round, 2 candidates get 33.34% of the vote and 1 gets 33.32%. The second choice of the third candidate's supporters are roughly split between the first 2 candidates. In this example, the second choice of all the supporters of both the other candidates is the third candidate. So, while having just 0.5% fewer first choice votes, the person that is the second choice of 100% of the other 66.66% will not be identified and selected. Another example, the membership of an organization was evenly divided into 2 camps. There were 8 candidates. The people in one of the 2 camps all supported one particular candidate, candidate A, but they constituted only 49.9% of the votes. The other camp fielded 7 candidates, relying on the ranked ballot to select the best one. One of those candidates, G, was a very controversial person, and another, candidate H, was thought to have no chance of winning, but was liked by everyone in both camps. The 2 people that voted for H as their first choice put G as their second choice to make a statement, but they didn't actually want G to win. Supporters of candidate F all put candidate H as their second choice, and one of them put candidate G as their third choice. After each round, G picked up enough votes to make it to the final 3. Supporters of candidate B all put H as their second choice, but never imagining the scenario that unfolded, put G as their third, resulted in G winning the election. At the conclusion of the steps laid out in sections 5.8.1 through to 5.8.4, the second preference of the supporters of the top 2 candidates have not been looked at and factored in. This is usually a very significant amount of information, and not factoring it in can result in an outcome that does not achieve the objective. The obvious question is, if the steps have such a critical flaw, why are they being used by so many organizations? For starters, most people have no idea that the steps have a critical flaw. People that have studied voting methodologies do know of the problem, but until recently, all the other options had their own critical flaws, shortcomings. So, in the absence of anything being clearly better, these steps became the norm. Without going into details here, by going beyond the standard steps, Looking at the alternate choices of the supporters of the final two candidates in a double elimination type process, and by also comparing all the candidates in a head-to-head manner, the chosen outcome will always be the one that's the most preferred by the most voters and satisfies the most voters to the greatest degree.